Does it change a lot with DJ Michael in there as opposed to Mertz? How do you guys approach that?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously both quarterbacks have played. First off, feel terrible for Mertz, and he's played so well for them over the last 2 years, and wish him a speedy recovery. And but there's been enough split snaps that you can see DJ's played and is very comfortable playing in big environments. The system is very much similar to no matter who the quarterback was in the game. You sort of prepare for that. Obviously, you understand the skill set he brings. Really elite level arm talent. Mobile. He looks comfortable and efficient in the system, and where to go with the ball, what to do with it. So it'll be a big challenge for us.
You mentioned that the system's the same, but does it make it a little bit easier knowing that you're just going against one guy instead of two?
Nope. No, nothing about Florida's system is easy, and so again, each quarterback had brought their unique skill set, but both understand how to operate within that system, and that's the important piece. It wasn't a system that deviated much, depending on the quarterback.
How do you see the players respond this week in terms of holding each other accountable versus just the coaches?
Yeah, I think there's been a good response, but we need to continue that response. And obviously going into a hostile environment on the road, need to really lock arms, and play well. It's going to be a battle down there. The crowd's always, into it, and sometimes it's hard to tell during the week. Like you like the way practice looks and it's going, but until you get in the environment, are they locked in? And so it's been good thus far, but we need to carry it over, and then it needs to carry into Saturday.
Brad, what have you seen from JJ on the leadership front lately?
Yeah, you know what? I've been really, and I've told JJ this, and so I don't think he'll mind. In terms of me sharing this, when I have to correct him for a mistake in game, he in the past at times, it would affect him throughout the rest of the game. He's done a great job this year of taking that correction, sort of applying it and playing great, throughout the rest of the game. And so I've been really proud of him. That shows maturity, that shows leadership in that regard, especially maybe not from a verbal standpoint as much as it is, if you're a young guy and you look and you see, hey, listen, here's coach correcting a 6-year senior, instead of getting upset or pouty or turn away or do any of that, here he is, he's accepting it like a grown man, understands, makes the correction, then goes back out and executes at a high level. That's what mature players do. And when young players watch old vets do that, that's the model you're looking for. If you get an old player that you try to correct and it's or I'm gonna go do my own thing, or I'm gonna go into a shell, or I'm gonna pout, well, guess what? Young players see that as well. And so that I've been really proud of him this year, and that shows a huge step, in terms of maturity and growth. And I think that's why he's playing so well.
Pretty decent result as far as the points and the yardage and everything last week, but Mark said there were situations on 4 of those scoring drives where you could have got off the field. What did the film show in those situations?
Yeah, it showed exactly that. It's we as a defense probably felt that was probably our worst performance of the year, and there were situations that we should have definitely handled better, from coaches, players, the whole nine. Execution in critical moments needs to happen, and we have an opportunity on the very first drive when we get them backed up and pinned to get off the field multiple times. And then we get them down in the red zone, we have an opportunity to force a big sack, and then a 3rd and long, force a field goal. Who knows what's going to happen? There were so many plays on that first drive and then we sort of settle in. So now you're thinking, okay, this is just like Ole Miss. First drive, got to settle in, kind of handle it the rest of the half, and then you get to the 2-minute drive. Well, then all of a sudden, in Ole Miss, we get out of the 2-minute drive in 2 plays. We force an incomplete, we force a sack, and we're going into the locker room. Well, we start the 2-minute drive with a mental error that should have resulted into 0 yards or potentially negative. If we execute, we don't. They get the drive started. Then we have an offsides penalty that gives them a free first down, and then they get going. We get them to 3rd down. If we stop them on a 3rd down, and execute things that we had worked all week, we force a field goal there, and that's a whole different ballgame, because now, hey, it's 10-7 at half. Even if you allow that field goal at the end of the first drive of the second half, it's 13-7, and you're saying it's still a 1-score game. But instead, it's 17-7, and that's got a whole different feel and a whole different stress level, on the sideline. And so those are situations we have to do better at, and we didn't play our best game in terms of execution. Every play, it seemed like somebody was raising their hand, and it was, hey, my bad or my mistake. Well, you do that and you only get 55 plays, and you got 20 guys do that. That's 50% of your snaps. You've got, an error there. So we've got to get that tightened up.
You were especially short at corner last week. Just how do you feel like those guys are playing, that they're being kind of pushed into a bigger role right now?
Yeah, I think we got to. Last week, was not our best. We got to play better, and I believe in their response.
With Wilson back, they have 3 pretty productive wide receivers. Just what have you seen from those 3 guys?
Yeah, could be as talented, if not the most sort of complete wide receiver group we've seen in several years at Florida. And obviously, Wilson's a dynamic playmaker. For them to get him back is a huge deal. I think 17 and 6 have been playing really, really good football. I think 17, I don't know if he gets enough credit for how well he's playing and operating in so many different positions. And so, yeah, that receiver group is really sort of elevating that offense. They'll provide a sort of a comfort blanket, for Lagway. He knows he's got guys he can trust. They're going to run good routes, be confident on the ball, make good, strong catches, and then obviously the playmaking ability, especially of Wilson. At any moment he can create an explosive. So we've got to do a good job out there.
Everybody good?
Thank you.
Coach White just said on defense, you felt like that was your worst performance of the year as a group. Just what's the movement like this week?
Just trying to respond, being about our approach. We know we put out film. Coach tends to say, you are who you put on film. So we know we put on film last week, and now we're just working because we know, man, how you practice, how you play. So this week has been a great week of practice for us and the team throughout the week and finish strong.
How do you clean up some mental mistakes that Coach said you guys suffered from this past game?
Just being focused and locked in on attention to detail, man. I'm not going to say we overlooked our opponent, but I can say our focus as a team and as a defense wasn't there where it needed to be last week. So this week we really prioritized and focused on the small things.
We've got some good, talented receivers over there. What do you see from them, and what do you guys have to do as a group to be locked in?
Man, the same thing we do every week, man. SEC, we're going to see good receivers every week, man. We just got to trust our technique, trust our coaches, and just execute the things Coach asks us to do.
JQ, second game in a row where you had a big play in the second half of the PBU. Last year didn't go as you wanted, but do you feel yourself as a player growing with confidence as you're making these plays?
Absolutely, man. I feel like every week I just get more comfortable in the system. And just with experience, I feel just more confident in myself. So absolutely, I tend to just try to build off the good things.
It's another week without Max. How do you think some of the other guys have stepped up in his absence these last couple of weeks?
I feel like our women did a great job stepping up and responding to the adversity. But man, it was good to see Max back in the building. Now we just seen him earlier this morning for we had a meeting and everything. But happy to have him back, man. Happy to have him around. He was being a great leader for us on the sideline last game as well.
JT, the focus stuff you talked about, as players, how you all hold each other accountable as opposed to just coaches holding you guys accountable for that stuff?
I feel like that's what we have to grow at. I feel like in the past we haven't done a great job of that, just policing each other, is what we say. Like Coach says, man, as a team, we know everything that's going on. There's sometimes you can hide things from the coach, but our teammates, we know everything that's going on. So we have to do a better job of holding each other accountable and being there for each other.
Is there a voice in the defensive room that everybody will respond to when you're talking about that
multiple
accountability?
leaders, man. We got multiple leaders. Zion is a great leader. Pop is a great leader. Dion is a great leader. We have multiple leaders, but everyone has a opportunity, a chance to say anything. It's not no one can. You can't say nothing because you're not a guy. That's not the standard we have here. Anybody can police each other and hold each other accountable.
With Mertz being hurt, they're going to go with a freshman at quarterback. He's athletic guy who can move around the pocket and run. Does that change at all the secondary, how you all play defensively?
No, so not a secondary. I'm pretty sure Coach White may draw some things up, that prevent him from trying to cater to his skill set. But us as a defensive back group, we just going to execute the play card, man.
Everybody good? All right.
Thanks.
And just get after those guys.
We're good? Can I ask one more?
Yeah, we'll go ahead one more.
What about the rest of your guys? We ask you about Dion every time. How do you think the rest of your guys are playing?
They're playing well. That we're playing good as a group. We're not great. We're not. We can always get better. Trayvon is doing really well. Ox is coming along, and Khalil Saunders, and big number 9 Keyshawn. He's doing well. That's one of the things. If you look at those 3 games that we won, and Georgia and the Ole Miss game, like, we won the freaking trenches, and that's what you got to have, and you got to have pride about that. And so that's what I've been talking to my guys about, is just having that pride that every freaking yard matters. And you know what? We don't want them to gain a yard. We want to keep it thick, be physical, and just get after those guys up front. That's what we got to do, and that's got to be the mindset. Coach Stoops talks about that, having that physical mindset, and you got to have that, in this league, week in and week out. And so, that's the deal, that's the plan, and we just got to go out and just execute and just be us.
Thanks, Coach.